Okay, so much going on in the world. This crazy world we live in, crazy and beautiful. What an extraordinary miracle this whole place is if you look at it in the right way. So, quite a few people have sort of suggested that I throw a few cards and kind of just explore the territory of life at the moment. What's going down? What's going on? Where are we all heading? What should we be doing? How should we be approaching it? What questions should what questions should we be asking? Remember, the more powerful the question, the more powerful the possibility. When your life is full of potent, powerful questions, then things really come alive. So let's explore a lot of things that are up at the moment. Of course, this whole thing about money and everyone being squeezed, and the operative word is squeezed. But let's explore this. Let's see what comes up. So here we go. The Hanged Man. Interesting. So what does this tell us? It kind of tells us that, we're kind of struggling in the wrong way. There's all this stuff here and we're thrashing around in these systems that try and make us do things in a certain way, that make us understand life in a certain way, have a certain vocabulary, a certain vernacular already there. We're born into this, yeah? And interestingly, that the character here, this kind of like strange Lonsdale boxer, artful dodger, kind of superhero character, the gold is falling out of him. The gold is coming down, out of his pockets. And that's where we find ourselves when we're in the narrative, the story that we've been fed, then that's the way it goes. But you see, the more we struggle against that system, the more that system closes in on us. So in the end, we have to stop the struggle. We've got to stop struggling against something that we don't even have to fight against. It's kind of the whole thing. It's the vocabulary, it's the way we're put into this whole system. So there comes a point where we can see that the more we struggle, the more it's going to come in on us. So that's just the start of this. Let's see where else we're going to go. Aha. So this is kind of just a random. We're just jamming here. So we've got the sun. Some people say, oh, it's the sun upside down. But actually, I just chucked it upside down. So the sun is a good point, because in the north it's winter and like we have less sun, less light. But what this is telling me is that we've got to stay focused on the things that bring light into the world, that bring light into our life. The more we stay focused on this radiance, the natural radiance, the radiance that sits behind everything, the more we will be able to see through that system, the hanged man. The more we struggle, remember, the more we struggle, the worse it gets. The struggle must stop. And then next we have the Eight of Wands. So where could this go? Where can the Eight of Wands go? So this is kind of like launching, this. It's telling you that there's a good time. It's actually a good time. It's a good time to recalibrate, to understand that there is a destination. When we focus on a more powerful and enriching destination and not on the places that they want us to focus on, then extraordinary things can happen. It could be that this is the perfect time to launch something, in the next coming phase, to launch something, to bring something to life, to make a point of bringing that magic, the wand, to life, So there is magic in something. See the magic in what it is that you want to create, what you want to bring to life. See the magic in your life, your work, your conversations, your relationships. Seek out the magic. Seek it out, yeah? Stop struggling against this system, yeah? And now, here we go. Start thinking of the strategies, yeah? What strategies could you bring into play? They can be very simple strategies. Strategies don't always need to be complex. Something simple, a simple plan, a one-page business plan, as the book goes. A friend of mine sent that to me recently. I like the idea, just one page. One page. How many pages does business plans normally have? I remember doing stuff like that years ago. And these things like, hundreds of pages with diagrams and charts and everything, which really is sums everything up the way things are portrayed to us, greater and greater complexity, AI taking over, greater and greater complexity, to the point where we, as humans, we become downgraded. And this is what we have to be very aware of, yeah? Because the human spirit, the human possibility is pure love. It is the interconnectedness. The spirit of love is what binds us together in this game of life. The spirit of love, the spirit of union, togetherness. This isn't just like sexual love. This is the love for oneself. To see yourself as something extraordinary, to understand that this life is something magical, something utterly miraculous, not to be downgraded by algorithms. Yeah, we are not an algorithm. We are a spiritual unfolding. We are a mystery. Nobody even knows what makes a leaf a leaf. They can break it down and tell you all the atoms and the components and all of the various bits and pieces. But they cannot tell you what a leaf actually is. And the same with love. Like our scientific paradigm, the asana of science, as miraculous as that can be, can also break things down into their constituent parts, gaze further and further in, knowing what all those little bits are that make up so-called love in the brain, the chemical reactions, the flow of energies around the body, the firing of synapses, etc., the parts of the brain that light up, etc. Knowing all of that doesn't tell us anything about what love is. So we have to be aware of where we're being downgraded by this all-pervasive narrative, that does not serve us. So the love for yourself, the love of everything around you, that springs forth beauty. Just acknowledging the beauty of things. And there will be stuff that comes at us all the time, the bullets in the wall. But love will allow you to look past those, to be within that love, and to look at the people that love you. Look into their eyes. Bring that union together. The fecundity of togetherness, the fecundity of overpowering the thing that would have us move away from love. Fear, false evidence appearing real. And if we're going to continue the jam, the high priestess must come in, of course. Here she is. the magical, the instigator of magic, the instigator of calling us back to the green wonders of nature, calling us back to realize that we are the channel through which magic flows. So this is really telling me that in this coming time, maybe even the next week, I don't know, it's not clear really. Why should it be clear? It doesn't have to be. You take this as it comes. It doesn't have to mean anything specific. It's just words, it's just images. Yeah, and even that stuff about the tarot coming from here and there and given and gifted from years and ancient Egypt. You could put that to one side, yeah? Put it all to one side. This is just here with images. These images are speaking to us now. They just speak in a way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how they do that. They just speak. And they could be any kinds of images, really. It just so happens they're these images. They're the images that have come through. Yeah, but importantly, these images have come through a human spirit. These are not AI images. Yeah, and you are not an AI. So this tells me that you need to reconnect all the time with your miraculous side, with your nature, the nature of your nature. The false evidence appearing real is not your nature. Your nature is to be radiant. But you see, if you don't follow that and you don't have a plan for how you're going to follow it, this is where the trouble kicks in, you see. So how do we create a plan? What is this plan? Yeah. This plan is about imagination. This is the thing that we have to imagine. Imagine something that is spectacular for us, something that brings us to life, that brings us back into connection with the force of love. The Seven of Cups, the cup, the vessel. We are the vessels. We are the ones that can imagine something, that can see something, that can bring something to life, first in our imagination and then make it happen in the world, to concoct a plan, yeah, to launch things, to understand what those things might be, to make the investigation, to get clear with yourself. And to get clear with yourself where you're moving away from love. Yeah, and towards something else. The thing that keeps us, the Nibiru, the returning black star, comes round to put itself in front of the radiant sun, to block our seeing of what we need to see. So it means that you need to be aware, to stay open, to stay vigilant, to connect on in with your body, to move your body, to move your imagination, to have a simple process that you are willing to take the time to concoct, yeah? This means you don't go rampaging off on a quest like some of the other princes, yeah? So you let go of this romantic Disney kind of way that we've been taught to look at life, and you see things for what they are, but not worse than what they are. But when you can do that, you start to understand that within everything, there is a kind of signature code. There's something built into reality that when we're willing to look and engage, it starts to communicate with us. I call it the guiding principle. Yeah, so a simple plan, a simple looking into things, a simple looking at what's working and what isn't working, phasing out the things that aren't working and bringing in more of the things that are working. Not willing to let go of the things that really matter. So a plan can be something where you look at the things that really matter, that really have an impact. Just make the investigation. So few of us are so distracted. We're distracted away from the things that we really need to be focusing on, keeping that wheel spinning, spinning, with our legs going like crazy trying to get somewhere. Where are we trying to get? Where are we trying to get in this way that we've been told about, educated into, yeah? So we have to discover that there's a whole different reality. There's a whole different way of looking at these things, you know, and everyone's trapped in this. And the good news is that once you see what's going on, then you can start to take the steps to liberate yourself from that. You start to see the light. You start to see the things that do you good, and you do more of what does you good. Even that thing that everyone tells us that, you know, the sun even harms us. Don't go near the sun. So much of what we're taught now is to disregard the things that we know are good and right and go towards the things that we're told. So we don't need to follow that particular structure. It's just a structure. It seems to be the structure that's around at the moment. And that's okay. Yeah, so within that all, we have to come to a sense of balance with it. A bit like the hanged man. Just balance. Yeah. Because when we have an equilibrium, you know, being in balance doesn't actually mean just like doing nothing. Oh, you know, everything's just in balance and it's okay. This is a dynamic response. This is a dynamic thing. Because when you're in balance, when your center is in balance, yeah, it means you can move anywhere without falling flat. Like a martial artist is centered and they can pivot to go wherever they need. This is what the meaning of balance is, not to be just still and nothing happening. In fact, there is no stillness and nothing happening. It's a misnomer, you know. Universe, one thing turning. There's always just this one thing turning, always, relentlessly, all the time. But within that, you can, a bit like when you're on the subway and it's going round corners and round and back and forth, everybody's clinging on. But if you like just stand there and you find your balance, there's all these other things. You find your equilibrium. It gives you tremendous freedom. You're not hanging on to something. You can move anywhere. You have that grace of freedom. So this is another thing to think about within all the midst of things that are calling you and pulling you and asking for your attention, yeah? to stay in that balance of body, balance of mind, balance of ideas, balance of words, balance of responses, allowing yourself not to be triggered by the things that normally trigger you, to remove your energy from those things and to glide gracefully through the chaos, finding your way. So I think that's where we're at the moment with this jam, the Starman Tarot. Don't forget, if you want more of this, hit the subscribe, join my channel, find out where life wants us to go, enjoy, explore, be a greater expression of who you are.